Have you ever wondered what's legal and what's not around the world? Buckle up, because we're diving into some of the strangest laws you won't believe are real. From creepy to controversial, we'll be exploring bizarre loopholes, outdated regulations, and some seriously messed up practices that are still on the books in certain places.
Horror history.
Imagine this. You're reading weird laws online and discover that chowing down on another human might not be illegal in places like the US, Germany, or the UK. Hold on to your fries, though. There's a giant asterisk here. Let's talk about Armin Meiwes, a German dude with a taste for the unusual. Let's just say his supermarket options weren't cutting it. Meiwes took to the dark corners of the internet, searching for a willing donor for his, culinary adventure. Big mistake, Armin. Finding a participant wasn't enough, because, murder is still illegal, and Meiwes ended up on a different kind of menu, prison food. If you want to know about his full story, check out this video. Cannibalism isn't always about creepy desires, though. Take Jose Salvador Alvarenga, a sailor stranded at sea with a buddy. Their situation became a real-life nightmare, with only raw birds and turtle blood to keep them going. Sadly, Alvarenga's companion didn't make it. Rumors then swirled that Alvarenga might have done the unthinkable to survive. Did he or didn't he? That's the chilling question. Laws can be stranger than fiction, sometimes in a seriously creepy way. Believe it or not, in some US states, there are no laws against showing affection, making out with, or, well, let's just say someone who's no longer with us, deceased. Seriously, who wrote these laws? Imagine losing a loved one, only to find out someone could violate their peace in such a disturbing way, and it wouldn't even be illegal. Yikes. Thankfully, some heroes are fighting for change. Enter Representative Aaron Vega, our champion against creepy legal loopholes. Back in 2015, he spotted this bizarre gap in the law and said, "Nope, not on my watch." He teamed up with others to create a law that would finally make necrophilia legal, because, consent is kind of a big deal, even after you're gone. Plus, let's face it, the whole thing is just messed up. This push for a new law came about after a truly disturbing case. 3 grave robbers were caught doing something awful to a woman's body. Let's just say it involved a complete lack of respect for the deceased. This incident became a chilling reminder that clear laws against necrophilia are absolutely necessary. Who knew there were laws stranger than fiction? Apparently, getting a little too close with your furry friends isn't illegal in some places. Denmark, Sweden, and even a few US states recently put the kibosh on bestiality, sex with animals, for those unfamiliar with the term. But believe it or not, some countries are still stuck in the dark ages on this one. Germany, for example, has these erotic zoos catering to a very specific, and frankly bizarre, fetish. And guess what? It doesn't stop there. Farmers in Germany have even caught people trespassing to, get friendly with their sheep. Yikes. Here's the kicker. Bestiality is also legal in Hungary, Finland, Mexico, and a bunch of US states. Seriously, what's up with Alabama vetoing a law against it in 2014? Animals deserve respect too, people. Laws around relationships can get complicated, especially when it comes to family. In most countries, sexual relationships between siblings are a big no-no. However, France, Spain, and Portugal have taken a different approach. There, as long as everyone involved is an adult and consents, it's not considered a crime. This approach has sparked debate, with some arguing that consenting adults should be free to make their own choices, while others raise concerns about potential power imbalances and the emotional complexities of such relationships. The issue isn't black and white, and even Romania is considering decriminalization. One legal expert there argues that not everything immoral needs to be illegal. In the US, all states have laws against incest, but some are stricter than others. Did you know some cultures have traditions that can be incredibly harmful? Female genital mutilation, FGM, is a practice that affects millions of girls worldwide. It involves removing or injuring a girl's external genitalia, often without anesthesia. This procedure has no medical benefits and can cause serious health problems. The good news? Many countries are fighting against FGM. Australia, Canada, the US, and several European and African nations have outlawed it. However, the practice continues in some parts of Africa and Asia. Millions of girls are at risk. Experts estimate that as many as 140 million women have already undergone FGM, and millions more are forced into it every year. This is a serious issue, and raising awareness is crucial. The more people who know about FGM, the stronger the fight against it can be. In India, marital rape remains a distressing reality as laws concerning forced sexual acts within marriage are not upheld. A notable case saw a Delhi judge ruling that such laws do not apply in the context of marriage. The case involved a 21-year-old woman who alleged that she had been drugged before signing marriage documents and subsequently coerced into sexual activity while intoxicated by her husband. Despite the woman's testimony and evidence of force, the judge deemed the incident not constituting rape due to inconsistencies and lack of evidence. This legal loophole extends beyond India, with countries like Afghanistan, China, Pakistan, and Saudi Arabia also permitting marital rape. Efforts to amend legislation in India to clarify that marriage does not imply automatic consent to sexual acts were proposed in 2016 but ultimately rejected, perpetuating the vulnerability of married individuals to sexual violence within their own homes. I'm not against this thing I'm about to mention. In my opinion, anyone who thinks about causing harm to women in sexual way deserves this punishment. Imagine being slapped with a criminal penalty that involves, well, let's just say it might affect your downstairs mix-up. Believe it or not, some states in the US and a few countries around the world allow chemical or surgical castration as punishment for certain sex offenders. This means repeat offenders or those seeking lighter sentences could be looking at a reduction in testosterone levels, bringing them back to preteen stages. Think mandatory mood swings and goodbye to that manly man image. Talk about a punishment with bite. It's important to note that this isn't a one-size-fits-all situation. Some places, like California and Louisiana, reserve castration for crimes against minors, while Texas lets repeat offenders choose to go under the knife. Ouch. Now, this practice is pretty controversial. Some see it as a way to curb recidivism rates, while others argue it's cruel and unusual punishment. What you think? Give your thoughts about it and comment. Imagine getting sentenced for a crime, but instead of jail time, the judge orders a good old-fashioned public beating. That's the reality of judicial corporal punishment, where courts dish out punishments like caning or whipping. This isn't some medieval torture scene from a movie. It's happening in places around the world today. These punishments are brutal, leaving deep bruises and taking weeks to heal. Think multiple lashings with a cane or a whip. Yikes. It's not just remote islands either. Countries like Singapore and Malaysia still have corporal punishment on the books. Remember the case of American teenager Michael Fay? He got caned for vandalism in Singapore, and the scars lasted for days. While Fay walked away eventually, the story sparked a global debate about the severity of this punishment. Is it an effective deterrent, or is it just cruel and unusual? Comment your thoughts. A form of capital punishment so brutal it's become a global controversy. Stoning, also called lapidation, is a horrific practice where condemned individuals are pelted with rocks until they die. This isn't something out of a history book. Stoning is still a legal punishment in a few places around the world, including Iran and parts of Nigeria. The details are disturbing. Victims are often partially buried, with the execution designed to be a slow and agonizing ordeal. Incredibly, escape is technically possible, but the system is rigged against women who are buried deeper. The practice is highly controversial, raising serious questions about human rights and the justice system. While some argue it's a fitting punishment for certain crimes, others condemn it as barbaric torture. Stoning is a harsh reality that sparks heated debate about justice and its limits. Despite the abolition of slavery in the U.S., a form of it persists due to the punishment clause in the 13th Amendment. This clause permits forced labor for those duly convicted of a crime. It stems from the Northwest Ordinance of 1787 and reflects the belief in the moral rehabilitation through hard work. Historical cases, like the post-Civil War sale of a convicted black man into slavery. Today, slavery is still permitted under specific conditions, allowing compulsory, uncompensated labor for those convicted of crimes. Many states have capitalized on this, using prison labor for financial gain. Despite legal challenges, the constitutionality of the clause has been upheld, with 37 states allowing corporations to contract prison labor. You may wonder why I'm not opposed to certain punishments. If you've watched my previous video, you've likely seen the heinous crimes committed by criminals. Those acts are so disturbing and abhorrent to me just merely reading about them. I made those videos by reducing the gore and disturbing content in it as much as I could. As humans, we possess a sixth sense that we should utilize for good, not to harm others. When individuals use their faculties to inflict harm, they reveal themselves to be monsters in disguise. Viewing women as mere objects for gratification and disposing of them like worthless items is utterly despicable. These monsters undoubtedly deserve punishment, even the death penalty. If you have any comments against my thoughts, please mention them in the comments. Please share your thoughts on which of the mentioned crimes you believe should be made legal or illegal. If you learned anything new in this video, then please like and subscribe to motivate me to create more videos like this. Until then, see you guys in the next video.